Welcome to my channel StarWire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. There are some TV shows that become more than entertainment. They become part of our lives. Cheers was one of those shows. For 11 seasons, it made us laugh and feel at home in that Boston bar where everybody knew your name. But behind those warm lights, there was a storm brewing. A tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. And at the center, Kelsey Grammer. For decades, the man who brought Dr. Frasier Crane to life kept his lips sealed. He smiled for cameras, promoted the show, played the game. But there was always something lurking beneath the surface. And now, after all these years, Kelsey Grammer has finally broken his silence about the one co-star he couldn't stand. This isn't just another Hollywood feud. This is about betrayal, egos clashing, and what really happens when cameras stop rolling. Early 80s. NBC is desperate for a hit. They've got Cheers, set in a Boston bar with quirky characters and sharp writing. During its first season, ratings barely scrape by. But something magical is happening. Critics love it. And slowly, Cheers begins climbing to become one of the most successful sitcoms in history. Enter Kelsey Grammer in Season 3, brought in for a short arc as pompous psychiatrist Dr. Frasier Crane. He's absolutely perfect. The writers love him. The audience loves him. Just like that, Frasier becomes a series regular. Kelsey was joining an established ensemble. Ted Danson was the leading man. Shelley Long played Diane Chambers. These were faces America adored. Kelsey had to find his place in an already tight-knit family. But while making Frasier Crane iconic, he was dealing with something behind the scenes. Something that would haunt him for years. A co-star who made the experience almost unbearable. For the longest time, fans speculated. Who could it be? Ted Danson? Shelley Long? Kirstie Alley? Theories were endless, but Kelsey never confirmed anything. He'd deflect in interviews, always the professional. Cheers changed his life. When it ended in 1993, Kelsey got his own show. Frasier became one of the most acclaimed comedies ever, winning dozens of Emmys, cementing Kelsey as a television legend. But success doesn't erase the past. That tension from Cheers never went away. Until recently. Until Kelsey finally decided to tell the truth. In a candid interview that sent shockwaves through entertainment, Kelsey opened up about his relationship with Shelley Long. Yes, the brilliant actress who played Diane Chambers for 5 seasons. The woman whose chemistry with Ted Danson defined the show's early years. According to Kelsey, working with Shelley was a nightmare. Now, Shelley is incredibly talented. She won an Emmy for Cheers. But talent and likability don't always go hand in hand. Kelsey described Shelley as difficult, demanding, and sometimes impossible. She'd hold up production with endless takes, never satisfied. She'd challenge writers, question every line, wanting rewrites. While perfectionism can be admirable, on a sitcom set where time is money, it becomes a serious problem. But it wasn't just professional. Kelsey revealed Shelley had a way of making other actors feel small. She had this air that she was above the material, above the show, above her co-stars. Cheers was an ensemble that thrived on family dynamic. But Shelley never quite bought into that philosophy. Kelsey wasn't alone. As details emerged, other cast members shared their experiences. Nothing explosive, but subtle confirmations. The picture, a set divided, with Shelley on one side and everyone else working around her. Ted Danson has always been careful discussing Shelley. He credits her, but there's distance when talking about their off-screen relationship. They were co-workers with incredible on-screen chemistry who couldn't wait to separate once the director yelled cut. Then there's how Shelley left. Season 5, Cheers at its peak, and suddenly she announced her departure. Official story, she wanted film. But insiders tell a different story. Exhausted writers, tired producers, a relieved cast. Kelsey's relationship with Shelley was particularly contentious because Frasier was Diane's love interest. This meant close work. Intimate scenes, romantic moments, long dialogues. According to Kelsey, every scene was torture. He described Shelley as cold, distant, ungenerous as a scene partner. Kelsey felt she was always in her own world, performing for herself rather than with him. Kelsey shared a famous anecdote. They were shooting an emotional scene. Kelsey had prepared extensively. But take after take, Shelley gave him nothing. She'd say lines mechanically, then ask to redo it because she didn't like how she looked or wanted different inflection or thought lighting wasn't right. After the 15th take, Kelsey snapped internally. He realized working with Shelley wasn't about collaboration. It was about feeding her ego, making sure she looked good, serving her vision regardless of what anyone else needed. This affected Kelsey's character unexpectedly. Writers noticed Frasier worked better with other characters. His scenes with Sam crackled with energy. Interactions with Cliff and Norm were comedy gold. Even his later relationship with Lilith had more chemistry than scenes with Diane. Writers shifted Frasier's storylines away from Diane, creating new dynamics. The character flourished. By the time Shelley left, Frasier had become so integral that his relationship with Diane felt like ancient history. This is why Frasier, the spin-off, worked brilliantly. The character had evolved beyond being Diane's boyfriend. Kelsey could finally play Frasier how he wanted, without complications of working with someone he couldn't stand. But there are two sides. Shelley has her perspective. She's spoken about feeling isolated on set, being the only woman in the main cast, dealing with pressure of carrying emotional weight. There's validity there. Being female lead on a male-dominated 80s show couldn't have been easy. Every time Shelley pushed back, maybe she wasn't being difficult. Maybe she was fighting for her character to have depth, agency, voice. The question, when does perfectionism become problematic? When does standing up for your craft cross the line? What struck people wasn't just the criticism, it was the emotion. After all these years, after all his success, Kelsey still carried that frustration. You could hear it in his voice. This tells us something about the entertainment industry. We assume people playing beloved characters have the same warmth off-screen. But television production is high stress where egos clash and conflicts can make every day a battle. Kelsey has been remarkably open about his life. Addiction struggles, tragic family deaths, multiple marriages. He's never sugarcoated or played the Hollywood game. When he opened up about Shelley, it felt authentic. The internet exploded. Some sided with Kelsey. Others defended Shelley, noting female perfectionists are labeled difficult while male perfectionists are called dedicated. But here's what got lost. Cheers remains one of the greatest sitcoms ever, regardless of drama. Both gave us performances that still resonate. Sometimes great art comes from tension. After Cheers, Kelsey went to Frasier, 11 seasons, 37 Emmy wins. It became one of the most decorated sitcoms in history. Shelley pursued film, but it never materialized as expected. Successful movies like The Money Pit and Troop Beverly Hills, but not that breakthrough role. She eventually returned to television, including the Cheers finale. That Sam and Diane reunion was poignant, but knowing the tension gives it different meaning. Why wait so long? Time puts things in perspective. Kelsey is in his late 60s. Maybe he reached a point where honesty mattered more than Hollywood facade. In an era where celebrity culture is carefully curated, Kelsey's candor feels refreshing. This doesn't diminish Cheers. It adds another layer. Knowing Kelsey dealt with this frustration and still delivered such memorable performance, that's professionalism. That separates good from great. We can appreciate complexity. Great television doesn't require everyone to be friends. Credit where it's due. To Kelsey for honesty. To Shelley for talent. To the cast and crew who created something transcending any conflict. Cheers will always be where everybody knows your name. Even if behind scenes, not everybody liked each other. That might make it more impressive. Because they did it anyway. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. Comment. Was Kelsey right? Was Shelley really difficult? Who's your favorite character? Share with Cheers fans. They don't know this story like this. Remember, sometimes the most interesting stories aren't on screen. They're happening just off camera. See you in the next one.